Yes. Bryson, we ready? Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or solid mode during proceedings. Chairman, Commissioners, preliminary matters on the AM docket. Number 6, 2556 Madison Avenue, a Class D beer and wine license. This case has been postponed. Case number 7, 415 West Coast Spring Lane, a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. This case has been postponed. Case number 8, 4507-09 Bel Air Road, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. This case has been postponed. All cases will be rescheduled, and all interested parties will be notified as to the new date and time.
Thank you.
32 North Chester Restaurant LLC, no trade name given, 32 North Chester Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-903, small c, 2, small I, small i, requiring $500,000 in capital investment, 51% food sales, seating capacity for 75, but no more than 150 individuals. This is a request for outdoor table service as well. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Commissioners, if I may, my client stepped out for just a moment. They were here. I anticipate they'll be returning very shortly. If we can take this one third. I do have 3 in a row. This will be the first of the 3. I do have a full set of documents. I can hand them over now, or we can
Why don't you
wait till
hold on to
Mr.
them and we'll
Klimkowski
just,
is here.
let's do the next one, Mr. Page, and then we'll come back.
Sure. Thank you.
Royal Blue Caribbean, Inc., traded as Blue Caribbean Bar and Lounge, 5402 A and B, Park Heights Avenue. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-1603 C1, small I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment, facilities, and seating capacity for a minimum of 75. There's a request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of Blue Caribbean. With me is Ms. Martin, and I also represent Ms. Martin and Ms. Weeks as well. Mr. Thompson is one of their managers at the location.
Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hurdle?
This is an application for a new B license. I do have a packet of documents I'd like to hand over, if that's possible. The first series of documents are some photos, as well as an appraisal from Mr. Melnick.
Thank you.
The last document on this packet is a floor plan showing, I believe it's 100 seats. And I also have one copy of the menu. I do apologize. This location has been open and operating for the past 7 years as a BD7 Tavern. They have always served a little bit of food. They're looking to expand that option, bring in a full kitchen, chef, things of that nature. I'm going to focus more on the food direction. Their hours will be till 2 a.m., 7 days a week. I'm not sure they'll be open every day till 2 a.m., but they'd like the option to be. They've requested live entertainment, which they've had previously, outdoor seating, which I believe they've had previously as well. Just got it.
Are they supposed to have been running it
Absolutely.
for how long?
For 7 years.
7 years.
Ms. Martin has 25 to 30 years, I believe, of restaurant experience. Is TAM certified. I don't know that they've had any violations in the recent past. And based on the appraisal Their expenditures seem to exceed by a substantial amount the $200,000 build-out requirements. Mr. Melnick did this appraisal, I believe, less than a week ago, and has included some photos of some of the new equipment that was recently purchased. They are looking to do catering, which I think they've done in the past as well.
So what's the nature of the live entertainment that you have?
DJs, entertainment coming from out of town, like a live guitarist, some jazz.
Okay.
Mr.
And,
Thompson, I apologize,
go
Commissioner.
ahead.
You've worked with the neighborhood in the past?
Yes.
And you guys haven't had any issues with the neighborhood based on live entertainment or the crowds or any sort of issues?
We go outside for the outside part. We always go at a reasonable time. We shut down early, so nobody's ever had any complaints.
Your first name?
Madam?
Merrick Thompson.
Yes.
And Mr. Thompson, how many outdoor tables are there?
There's gonna be 15.
15. So you said that's new?
Well, when I say that's new, is this meaning that our getting the license out there, but we normally sit out there, but that's relatively new, yes.
Okay. So is that what this represents, or is that inside?
That's inside.
Okay, and where's the outdoor? In the back,
In the back, yeah.
The back is private property, correct? Not
Yes,
city
everything-
property?
yes, not city property.
where it says backyard, that area?
Correct.
Did they have
Okay.
So they would need a minor privilege in
And
that
when you
situation.
do the live music, is it back here typically, or inside?
Inside.
Oh,
And the doors are closed to the outside, so there's no noise in the neighborhood, correct?
okay. Yes. Yes, please.
if the commission would indulge me. So the location of 5402 A and B Park Heights Avenue currently they have a BD7 license. This past session of the General Assembly, there was legislation introduced affecting all licenses with the exception of a Class B and a Class C license, the hours of operation. So the purpose of filing for Class B, beer, wine, and liquor at this location was to have the extended hours under a Class B restaurant, correct?
The purpose is to do more restaurant business, but also to resume operations under their current or their previous hours as well.
So the license they're currently operating under, the Class BD7, is subject to the 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. opening and the 10 p.m. closing?
The current BD7 license is, that's correct.
Just so the board would have more information.
And this
Yes.
license, what are the hours for the Class B?
The Class B would be 2 a.m. The current law does not restrict the hours of B licenses.
Has there been any communication with the community?
Yes, we talk to community. I mean, like this Blueprint been around for about 35, 40 years, so it's not like it's one of the first, actually only Jamaican establishments in the city, like live entertainment. So we've been around like 40 years. We're actually part of the community. So everybody we know from a long time, and most people in the community have been there, come there regular, and occasionally we do we have like fundraising events, you know what I'm saying, and for like fundraising events for different groups. So we're well part of the community.
Well, does the community know that the hours will be extended to 2 a.m.?
If I may, the hours were never actually reduced. The law went into effect, I believe, July 1st.
So it's always been open until 2
It's
a.m.?
always been till 2 a.m.
Oh.
The previous license and the way they previously operated, their business model became a bit prohibitive. By focusing more on a restaurant business, they'll resume their previous hours as well as targeting a new crowd, which should also help kind of bolster the bottom line even further.
And Commissioner, if I may, the community liaison for the agency have visited the community association meeting, and the association is well aware of the licenses that are affected and those licenses that are exempt.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, do you have other questions?
I do not.
No further questions.
Anything else?
No, we would ask the board at this time to approve the license.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the exhibits received, the testimony received, proffers from council, I would vote to approve the application.
I concur and vote to approve the application as well.
Based on the testimony, the evidence before us with respect to the investment, which far exceeds the $200,000 threshold, and the more than 75 seating capacity, I too would support the granting of this new Class B license.
Good luck, folks.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. If you guys can stay outside in the hallway.
Call the exhibits for the record. Calling exhibit number 1, applicant exhibit number 1, a appraisal, photos, and floor plan.
Mr. Page?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nawaku Holdings LLC, trading as Montego Bar and Grill, 1818 North Charles Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-1603C, 1, small I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment, 40% food sales, seating capacity for a minimum of 75. This is a request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of 1818 North Charles. With me is Mr. Nwoko, who is one of the licensees.
Sir, would you raise your right hand, please?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your first name, sir?
Okibo,
Okay. There's two Nwokos here, that's why I wasn't sure which you were.
it's my brother.
Okay. Mr. Hurdle, you want to tell us about this application?
Yes, 1818 North Charles has been a restaurant licensed establishment for several years. There was a transfer attempt a year ago, but there were some issues with finalizing that transfer. It ended up being better to apply for a new B license. With me, I do have an application packet that includes a menu, business plan, expenditures list, as well as a seating plan. I do have multiple copies of that.
Okay. That'll be received.
The location's been open for a couple months now. They have not been serving alcohol. Previously, it was, I believe, a Caribbean-style restaurant as well, if I
Yes.
may.
Good thing it's not on Park Heights Avenue, you'd have some competition.
Good thing, absolutely. And this is kind of a new and, I would say, a developing area of that North Charles Street area, which is why we're pursuing the outdoor table service and live entertainment. Currently, the expenditures stand at about $240,000, and they're continuing to climb as the restaurant kind of, again, it's open, but they're kind of still filling things out in some regards. There's 90 seats at the moment. At this time, Mr. Nwoko has indicated he's had several years' experience in the industry. He's also currently attending culinary school, where he hopes to graduate very soon. He is TAM certified as well.
Who is managing,
I am.
and what's your background
My background is actually excuse me?
in running establishments?
Well, in running establishments, this will be my second restaurant. Background is actually in IT. I was a IT project manager for several years. So I have that experience in managing.
Mr. Nwoko has been very hands-on in the process. It's actually really refreshing to see, based on us kind of going through part of the transfer a year ago for the pre-existing, I believe it was a D license at the time. And it just, again, some glitches, and it took a long time to kind of get things open. The building required substantial work, of which Mr. Nwoko has been an active participant in doing and guiding.
Where in your documents are the allocation of the investment? I see a $71,000.
3 sets of those pages in there. I believe there's 2 for roughly $81,000 and 1 for $71,000.
And then I did see another one for 15, I think. Yeah, what is this in the back?
Mhm.
Oh, I see it.
Is that an investment?
Absolutely.
And where's the 81,000?
There's actually 2 for roughly $81,000.
Oh,
It's a large packet with the extensive business plan. I do
It's towards
apologize.
the
I think I have it. Okay. I only saw the one, that's
Sorry,
why.
270,000 and 180. I apologize.
Yeah, I still don't.
Okay. And so, how long has it been open,
2 months and 8 days.
and how's it going?
It's going well.
Okay.
Lots of
The
repeat
food is
customers.
well received?
Yes.
And it will be at least 40% of the revenue will be food?
My belief is it'll probably be substantially more, given the way the operations are currently running.
And the live entertainment will be what?
Well, we're doing karaoke on Mondays, salsa on Tuesdays, kizomba dancing on Saturdays.
What's
And
Kazumba dancing?
Kizomba dancing is an Angolan dance. It's kind of like a salsa, but it's African. So the theme of the restaurant is a Caribbean African fusion. So you can tell by the food as well. So that's what we're striving for.
And how many outdoor tables?
2.
Okay.
This is just down the street from the theater, correct?
Correct.
What's it, I missed it. What's the seating capacity?
90.
90.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Nowicko, you, from the documents, there's an indication that you owned or were part owners in a liquor establishment in Prince George's County.
Correct.
Any issues there?
No
No
issues.
violations?
None.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further,
No, at this time, we would ask the board to approve the new license issuance.
commissioners?
No further questions?
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the evidence has been received, the testimony received, and proffers from counsel, I would vote to approve the application.
I concur, similar bases, and vote to approve the application.
I vote to approve based upon the evidence and the meeting the threshold of the $200,000 and more than 75 seats. I also approve the live entertainment and outdoor table service and off-premise catering. Good luck.
Thank you, good luck to you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Calling the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, applicants collective, including menu, business plan, and capital investment.
The client for 32 North Chester has arrived, if we may.
Mr. Page?
32 North Chester Restaurant LLC, trade name pending, 32 North Chester Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. An application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-903, small c, 2, small I, requiring $500,000 in capital investment, 51% food sales, seating capacity of 75, but no more than 150 individuals. This is a request for outdoor table service as well. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of 32 North Chester Restaurant LLC. With me is Mr. Andrew Klimkowski. And I do believe I spelled his name with an I, and it should be a Y.
Actually, we have it as a Y, so it must have picked it up off the application. Would you raise your right hand, sir?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay,
I do have, again, application packets.
thank you.
This location has had a liquor license for about a year and a half at this point. There's a D license there, 7-day beer and wine, which they initially opened under. In your packet is also an MOU that we have from the community, which has been modified from the previous 7-day beer and wine to indicate that there will also be hard liquor sales at this time, if the license is approved. They currently have outdoor table service, which they've had since the start. It is my understanding, and Mr. Klimkowski will testify, that the neighborhood has found the restaurant to be very well received. Since then, when they opened, kind of a bare bones operation, they've spent substantial funds building this location out. The location is, to be honest, one of the, probably the more stunning spaces in the city that I've been to. They have, I believe, roughly 76 to 80 seats. They didn't include it in their floor plan, which is in the documents, but they do run a kitchen table on occasion, which could be 2 6-tops down in the basement, which is also a market space. But we didn't want to kind of confuse people with the floor plan that we have.
And it looks like almost $1 million in investment.
Absolutely. I believe it's somewhat close to that number. The building was initially essentially just a shell. They kind of got it bare bones out, opened, and they've been kind of cleaning it up and modifying it since then to suit their needs. At this point, it functions as an Italian restaurant with a genuine Italian chef from Italy who's got a fun accent, I think, and the food is wonderful. He's a great guy, Marco.
You say they, but are you alone in this endeavor, Mr. Clement?
I do have a lot of people on my team that help me.
But you're the sole owner and operator?
I'm the sole operator.
Yeah, I do apologize. When I say they, I mean Marco takes a substantial role in running the menu and the
Our
downstairs
entire back of
operations.
the house, yeah.
And
Okay.
so are you managing
Yes.
the operation?
And is it going to continue to have an Italian?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
as long as we can keep him here.
You wouldn't know from trade name pending what the nature of the restaurant?
The current trade name is La Buca di Marco.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe it's registered, which is the reason we haven't put it on the application. I believe it was registered after the application was filed.
Okay. And Mr. Klimkowski, you have amended this MOU with the Butchers Hill Association. Are you willing to have the terms of the amended MOU be a restriction on your license?
We've sat down multiple times with the community group. We're in full agreement with their MOU.
Okay, so you understand that to the extent it's enforceable, you have to abide by those terms?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No further questions?
How many outdoor tables?
I believe it's 4
Okay.
with the horrible weather, we haven't put them out so much, so.
It has been pretty lousy. It's either so humid you can't breathe, or it's raining. Okay, anything further?
At this time, no. I mean, again, Mr. Klimkowski, you've interacted with the neighbors, and would you indicate that this property has been a benefit to the neighborhood, and they would agree?
Absolutely. Actually, one of our employees actually moved next door. Marco lives above, kind of just always out watching, talking to everybody who walks by. It's been really good, and we've had a lot of great feedback.
Good, okay. Well, thank you then. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the exhibits which have been introduced and received, your testimony and the proffer from council, I would vote to approve the application.
I concur on the same bases and vote to approve the application.
To vote to approve the application based upon the meeting the investment threshold, the seating capacity, and would also approve the outdoor table service and the MOU to the extent it's enforceable by
Yeah,
law.
I meant to say I'm approving with the restrictions imposed by the MOU to the extent they're enforceable.
Same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will we be excused?
Yes,
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, MOU between applicant and Butchers Hill Community Association. Exhibit number 2, a letter of support from the Butchers Hill Association. Exhibit number 3, applicants collective, including a menu and capital investment.
Patango Pastry LLC, trading as Patango Bakery, 903 South Ann Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. An application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-903 C2 small I, requiring $500,000 in capital investment, 51% food sales, seating capacity for 75, but not more than 150 individuals, and a request for outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Good morning, Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicants.
Good morning. Gentlemen, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. Fogelman?
Yes, thank you. You may have heard of Patango Bakery. It's been in Fells Point now since 2015, took over from Bonaparte Breads, which was there prior. Patango started out in business in Fells Point as a gelateria over on Broadway. So they own both an ice cream shop and a bakery. The bakery is where there's been an expansion. The bakery is where they have the statutory number of seats. And the bakery is where they've been serving fantastic food for the 4 years that they've been here in Baltimore. They're waterfront. They are right at the corner of Ann and Thames, kind of adjacent from across the water from the new hotel. It's a great place to have fresh baked breads, to have great Italian sandwiches, lighter fare. It's very popular, and so once they expanded, they have expended great sums over the last 3-4 years, improving the premises, including the expanded premises. So at this time, I'm going to hand you a packet showing some of the press they've received. And they started in Washington, Patango did, before expanding here to Baltimore. They have press from Baltimore and Washington. In addition, most importantly, we'll show you their capital budget and their construction expenditures.
Thank you.
Where does the name come from?
What's the name come from, Mr. Dan?
Just for the sound of it, but it's the name of a tropical fruit.
Hold on a second. Is that Noah Dan?
Yeah.
Mr. Fogelman, I have a general question, though.
Sure.
What kind of drinks would you serve at a bakery?
Well, it's like there's sandwiches, and so I would think a lot of Italian. I think a lot of Italian whites and reds, but I'm going to let the GM jump in on that because I'd serve beer. So
That's why you're the wrong person I should be asking.
On one of the packets is a drink menu. Basically, it's a light beer and wine selection with a few kind of like house cocktails. The plan is to not serve a full bar, so the idea of someone coming in and ordering like a vodka tonic is really not on the table. Just a few cocktails that we come up with, classic cocktails like an Italian Negroni or a Aperol Spritz, as well as couple beers by the bottle and wines by the glass. It's more or less just to let someone have the opportunity to enjoy a glass of wine or a beer with their sandwich in the late afternoon, like on a beautiful Saturday or Sunday.
Perfect commercial, and you know we're being televised. You did a good job.
I know. I keep telling him to put me on TV, but
good.
he
It's well done.
says I got other things to
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you. And gelato
Bryson.
there?
So our gelato store is on Broadway. It's about 2 blocks away. We also have a few stores in DC and Virginia as well.
Yes, Stracciatella?
Of course, the best.
And Bryson, I'm sorry, this is Ryan Helfer, the general manager, RYAN.
Who is?
This, the gentleman just spoke.
Sorry. Well, he just agreed that he was Noah Dan.
No,
He is.
How do you spell his last name?
HELFER.
Thank you.
and I'm sorry, in this packet, or the investment
There's 2.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Two packets.
There is the vertical packet, I guess, with the vertical page. Page 2 is the capital budget showing $771,536. Page 3 is a direct breakdown of the construction budget showing $524,946.07 being spent in general contractor expenses, equipment, metalwork, and architect, painting, et
Just
cetera.
wanted to make sure we had it in the record. So, and the seating is how much?
84 seats. They don't even have a bar. Let me make that clear. 84 seats inside, and I believe they have 14 outdoor tables.
Okay.
Is it fully open and operational?
Oh, yeah, yes, it's been open for several years now. So all they want to do, as far as the expanded portion, is that
right,
open yet?
that's what I'm referring to.
It's open, yeah.
It is open, okay.
So they expanded into the building next door?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I thank you, and I think they've been well received by the community. We met with the Fells Point Residents Association on August 1st, and everything went well. Did you receive an email from that organization?
It's not in our
I don't
packet.
believe so.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, yeah, we had a fruitful discussion with the folks at the Fells Point Residents Association last Wednesday. Basically, this establishment doesn't have a television, it doesn't have a bar, it's not the kind of place that they anticipate closing by 11. So it's not it's something that we're worried about causing any late-night troubles.
Mr. Dan has interest in a liquor license down in DC?
I don't think so. You do? Oh, you do? Did I put on the application? Yeah. You have a liquor he does.
Any issues?
You're Mr. Dan?
Yes.
We need to, sorry, we can't keep up.
I apologize.
No, I interrupted, please.
But it's in the District of Columbia, right? Okay. Anything further?
Well, any issues with the license down in DC?
Okay. Thank you. Then, on the basis of the materials contained in the application, the exhibits which have been received in evidence, your testimony, and the proffers from counsel, I would vote to approve the application.
I concur based on the testimony, exhibits. I concur and vote to approve the application as well.
I too vote to approve the application and the request for outdoor table service based upon meeting the threshold investment, the seating capacity, and all the requirements of the statute.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. See you later.
Calling the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit Number 1, floor plan and press clippings. Applicant Exhibit Number 2, capital investment breakdown.
Broken Maidens LLC, trading as hair of the dog, 1649 South Hanover Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and a request for off-premise catering. Please come forward. Mr. Chairman, the address of 1649 South Hanover does appear on the zoning list that must conform within the next 2 years.
Okay. Counsel?
Good morning, Anastasia Nardangeli. That's Nardangeli. On behalf of the applicant, Broken Maiden LLC, trading as Hair of the Dog.
Good morning. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Swear or affirm the the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Nardangeli?
Yes, I am here with John Ferguson, and it's Stacy Lynch, and also with Sean Decker. These are the three owners of the LLC applicant, and Sean is the Baltimore City resident. John is the manager of the entity. This is a transfer application for a liquor license for an entity, Tear Up the Dog, that's been in existence, hasn't closed down. They're not making any changes to anything about the business.
How old is the business?
John, how old is the business?
How long has it been there, Jason? 5 years.
5. Okay.
Okay, so the applicant did request live entertainment, and besides that, there's nothing that would be changing about the operations. I would like to submit an exhibit package to the board. There is exhibit number 1 is a petition showing 80 signatures in favor of the transfer and the application. Exhibit number 2 is a letter of support from the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association. Exhibit number 3 is a letter of support from Federal Hill Main Street. And exhibit number 4 is a letter of support from Catherine's Pub LLC, which is trading as Delia Foley's, did I say that right? Which is it's an establishment right next to.
Just to clarify something, you're requesting live entertainment as well as outdoor table service, so those are the 2 changes?
Outdoor table service is already, yes.
And
yes,
off-premise catering,
that's correct.
so that's new.
I'm sorry, off-premise catering is new.
And
I
live
apologize.
entertainment
And live
are new.
entertainment. Outdoor table service was already in existence and on the old liquor license,
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
or the existing liquor
At
license.
this time, we don't have a request for live entertainment.
Well, it's in here,
It's in
apparently.
the application.
It says no, though.
It says no. Current license provides for no live entertainment, but the request was not made at the time of application. It says no.
Okay, I am a little confused. I thought that it said yes, live entertainment, acoustic guitar, and similar.
Okay.
Is it just confusion on the form? Because it looks like yes and no are both checked.
I think that was for off-premise catering, and John,
Off-premise catering it says yes, very definitively, but then live entertainment is a little confusing. But then it says what kind, acoustic guitar, similar.
okay, I'm very sorry. I'm looking at the application copy that I have, and it's, the yes box is checked for live entertainment.
So part of it wasn't
I'm
posted
sorry.
for live entertainment.
I got it.
So it's-
Yeah. Sorry, does this match what I have a copy of? Okay, so you guys have something that looks, I apologize for this. When this application was submitted, it looks like something was handwritten as opposed to the copy that I have in my files that I saw leave my office, so.
So, Mr. Page, is the issue that it wasn't posted for live entertainment?
The issue was not, we not only didn't post, but wasn't advertised for live entertainment, Mr.
And
Commissioner.
there's an issue with zoning, right?
We didn't get clearance from zoning for the live entertainment.
Well, I know that zoning approved, because I did submit the application for the UNO permit, and zoning did process the application, and so,
But for live,
yeah,
Is
it
that
requested
included?
live entertainment on the description, including live entertainment.
And just so I'm clear, is there live entertainment now?
There is not live entertainment
This
now.
is the new, okay, gotcha.
so, it looks like on our documentation for the UNO, it says not including live entertainment.
We're not going to be able to approve
Right.
with live entertainment.
So it's not an
It's
issue.
just-
So we would like to withdraw the request for live entertainment and simply ask for the
Yeah, you
transfer
have
of
to
the
sub-
existing
You have to
license.
submit that.
Right. I got it. It didn't get advertised properly, so I apologize for the confusion, and we will certainly come back to you in the future with regard to the live entertainment.
Okay, so at this point, it's for transfer of the license with outdoor table services and off-premise catering.
Correct.
Okay.
And,
Set that in pretty quickly for live entertainment, I would think.
and just so you know, the outdoor table service is already approved.
Okay, are
Okay,
there?
So let me give you the exhibits that I just listed. Here's the exhibit package that I'd like to
Thank
enter
you.
in.
Have you received?
And the exhibits support the proffer that I'm about to make, which is that there is a public need and desire for the restaurant to continue to exist. The transfer will have a positive impact on the existing license holders. There's really no threat to health or security because nothing's changing, and there's been no issues with the license since its existence. So I'd like to proffer that the transfer should be approved.
Commissioners have anything further?
Nothing further.
I like the name of the bar. It's a good one.
Is there something unique about this establishment?
It's these actual real sports bars down there. We have a lot of TVs and we're looking forward to summer's a tough time down in Federal Hill, so we should do well during football.
Isn't there a Ravens game tonight?
Yeah, there is a home game.
Okay.
And you guys are open. It's too bad you don't have live entertainment. Never mind.
I think they might argue that the food is unique as well and that it's better than everyone else's.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis and the materials that we do have in our application, the exhibits that have been received, the proffers from council, and the testimony received, I would vote to approve the transfer with outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
I concur and vote to approve the transfer with continuation of outdoor table service and off-premises catering as well.
I too concur with my colleagues and agree to grant the transfer with the outdoor table service and the off-premise catering. And lastly, just so the record is reflected, you understand that based upon the new zoning rules, the BD7 changes its dynamic in July 1 of 19. Is that right, Mr. Akras?
June 5th, 2019.
Sorry, correct. June 5th, 2000. So you understand that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll see you next time. Yes, here it is. Excuse me.
Calling the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1 from the board, from the applicant, capital breakdown, petition of support, and letter of support from Federal Hill Main Street. Exhibit number 2, letter of support from the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association.
Is that it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The board is in
Morning
recess
docket.
till 1 p.m.
Okay, we're in recess till 1. Thank you.
Yes.
Larry, you can tab your lunch.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Thomas?
We on, Bryson? Mr. Page?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Now begins the PM docket of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Preliminary matter on the PM docket, case number 21230-32 Light Street, a Class A Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. This case has been postponed. Number 41501 Bolton Street, a Class D Beer and Wine License. This case has been postponed. Los Tres Homenos 3736-38 East Lombard Street. This is a Class B Beer and Wine License, an application to transfer ownership, requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the applicant. To my immediate right is Diana Calderon, who is the applicant, and also joining her is her brother-in-law, Gabriel Pinheiro Ramos, and her mom, Santos Mercedes Calderon Alvarado. Did I say that right? And they're going to be involved in the restaurant.
All those who are going to testify, please raise your right hands.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Previs?
Thank you. This is an application for transfer of ownership but not location of a Class B beer and wine license for the premises at 3736 through 38 Lombard Street. This is an existing Mexican-type restaurant. It's a fairly small location, about 14 tables. Diana and her mom live on that block, and they are familiar with the previous owners, and they've been in discussions for a while about purchasing the premises, which they've reached an agreement. The premises is currently closed, so it can be cleaned up and spruced up a bit in anticipation of the board approving the transfer. The purchase price is $50,000, and that's to be paid $2,000 a month, and to enter into a new lease with the existing landlord. Mr. Pineda Ramos has extensive experience running a food truck, Los Tres Hermanos 1, and this will be Los Tres Hermanos 2, or dos.
Your Spanish was good, but I was just trying to help you.
Thank you. The menu, some of the families from Mexico and other families from El Salvador, so it's going to be a bit of a mixed menu, and nonetheless Central American menu. The anticipated hours are, they're going to serve lunch and dinner, and the anticipated hours are 11 to 11. Basically, family running the place, anticipated 4 people, which would be these 3 and Gabriel's wife. They hope they get busy enough to have to hire someone else, but it's basically going to be mom's home cooking and then the family running the place, and it's just a beer wine. We spoke to Terry earlier. Apparently, there was a bit of a issue. What's your last name besides Presley?
McCready, MCCREADY.
What was your first name?
Terry, TERRY.
He's here on behalf of the
Highlandtown Community Association.
Okay. The place being closed, and they didn't understand who was the appropriate community association. So spoke with Mr. McCready earlier. He's not opposed to the restaurant, just wanted some communication, and we've agreed to discuss and enter into good faith into a memorandum of understanding. It's going to be a restaurant operation. There's no intention of having any type of tavern business. So we do agree on the record to enter into a memorandum of understanding with any reasonable provisions as far as a lawful operation.
What are their hours going to be?
11 to 11, 7 days a week. The beer wine does allow for 7 days a week.
And those who are going to be handling the alcohol, will they be certified?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, folks, you understand you have to take the alcohol awareness class if you haven't done so already, and make sure that you understand the rules and regulations of the liquor board with regard to don't sell to minors, don't stay open too late, don't let any other bad things happen in your place. So take responsibility. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when is it slated to open?
Well, he tells me 3 weeks, but I know that 3 weeks often turns into 2 months.
Okay. Commissioners have other questions?
No.
We do not.
And the previous licensee had a clean record?
I believe so. My only encounter with them was at some point the resident licensee had moved to Baltimore County, so they had to do a stockholders.
Yeah, I don't see it. Okay.
No record.
Okay.
No violation
Yeah.
history.
All right. Well, that's important that you maintain a clean record, okay? All right, well, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, the testimony received, the understanding that the Highlandtown Community Association is going to work with them to try to make sure that everyone's pleased, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I concur and vote to approve the transfer.
I too vote to approve the transfer and the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you.
Mr. Previs.
Yes. Gin Liquors,
5303-05 York Road. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. JU representing the applicant, Ms. Zhu and Mr. Chen, their husband and wife, and Mrs. Jean Thomas.
Okay, would you
Rest of
folks
it.
all raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and
Yes.
Mr. Yu?
Thank you. This is a request for a transfer of Class A beer, wine, and liquor license located at 5303 through 5305 York Road. The business is presently open, and Mrs. Jean Thomas is the current licensee, so she will remain on the license for the new owners, Mrs. Zhu and Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen and Ms. Zhu are not Baltimore City residents, so Ms. Thomas will be the resident agent licensee. Ms. Zhu and Mr. Chen both are qualified. They are a person of good moral character. They did take the alcohol awareness course, and they have no criminal records or serious traffic infractions. And they do understand that all the rules and regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Board has to be abided by. And also Ms. Thomas knows that as well. The applicants have met with the community last week, and I believe the board has been submitted a copy of the MOU.
So we had gotten an email from Donna Blackwell about wanting to update the MOU.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes,
Okay,
we
so-
did meet, and we did have a very productive meeting, and the MOU was updated, and it was fully executed as of
Are they in agreement that to the extent it's enforceable, it would be a limitation on their license?
Yes, they do understand. They have full understanding.
Okay.
So Ms. Thomas is on another license as well, a licensee on another establishment?
Actually, this establishment.
Just
yes.
this one, okay.
So she's just,
Oh, got it.
continuing as a licensee.
Apologize, all right. And who's managing the restaurant?
It's actually a packaged goods store.
Excuse me, the liquor store?
Ms. Su will be the president, secretary, actually Mr. Chen will be the secretary, and I guess she'll be the treasurer. And
Who's going to be there on a regular basis?
both, husband and wife, they'll be running it. Currently, the seller has 2 employees. The seller, his wife is not helping, so he has 2 employees. And per the MOU, they're supposed to maintain at least 1 employee from noon to 12 every day. So at this point, as they take over, they're planning on assuming all the employees. They have 2 full-time employees right now, so they'll be assuming both. And
The current employees?
Yes. As time goes, since both husband and wife will be working, they may consider keeping both, or they may, reduce the hour for 1 employee. But at this time, they're assuming both employees to help them out.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Yu. So so Ms. Zhu and Chen, the husband and wife, according to our records, live in Rockville.
Yes.
So my concern in these kinds of situations is that there's a fair distance, obviously, between this Baltimore and Rockville. Can you speak to that? What are you moving? How will you manage if you're not?
The main thing is I just want to make sure this establishment is concrete, that I know in and out, I know how to manage it correctly. I do have 2 small children. They're starting pre-K and kindergarten. I don't want them to drag them here when I'm still trying to establish everything, but the main goal is them to move them after I'm established within a month. Yes. Ms. Zhu.
So we did have a thorough discussion about this, and basically what Mrs. Zhu is trying to convey to commissioners are that once the liquor board approves the transfer, and once we actually close the deal, then she will start, once the deal's concrete, then she will look for a place in Baltimore or nearby, because, it'll be like an hour-and-a-half commute, and it's not doable.
No, thank you, I appreciate that.
So is this in the Govans area?
It's
Yes.
in, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything further?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the exhibits received including the MOU, the proffer from council, and the testimony received, I would vote to approve this transfer subject to the terms of the MOU.
I concur and vote to approve the transfer subject to the terms of the MOU.
Thank you. I too vote to approve, subject to the terms of the MOU. Good luck.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, MOU between the applicant and the York Road Partnership. Exhibit number 2, email from Donna Blackwell, president of the York Road Partnership.
Wawa Liquors, Inc., trading as Wawa Liquors, 1813 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Council?
Again, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. J.U. representing the applicant, Mr. Lee.
Good afternoon. Mr. Lee, would you raise your right hand, please?
Swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay.
Are you going to have a patent or copyright problem with Wawa?
Hope not.
I hope not too, but you might want to check into that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is a request for transfer of a Class A liquor license located at 1813 Pennsylvania Avenue. Mr. Lee has entered into a contract to purchase this liquor store, and previously he's right now a owner of a liquor store at Shamrock Liquors, which came before the board on a transfer hearing, and I believe it was approved. It was represented by, the buyer was represented by Mr. Kadansky. So Mr. Lee has a contract to sell Shamrock Liquors at this time, which the transfer was approved, and we are waiting for the closing to occur.
And do you know when that'll be?
We're looking at maybe another 45 days, because the Shamrock Liquors is undergoing inspections, fire inspection and the UNO inspection. So once all that has been approved and the closing has been had and the bill of sales are produced, we should be able to transfer the license from Mr. Lee to the buyer. So
Can we issue a license before that?
We cannot.
Okay. He understands that.
Yes. So Mr. Lee is here today to seek approval for the transfer of this liquor license to his name, pending him being removed from the other license. Mr. Lee, before in the process of preparing for this hearing, we did look at the violations that were in his record, and it was of a very big concern for both him and I. And Mr. Lee, previously when he was trying to purchase the Shamrock Liquors, he was once denied. So we're very, we do understand the sheer nature of his previous violations. So Mr. Lee, in order to assure the board that this will never happen again, he has a ID scanner system at the Shamrock Liquors right now. So he's planning on taking that with him. So he makes sure that at the closing, that will be the, he will be taking that to his new location.
How long have you had Shamrock?
2 years.
Okay, so we don't have any violations at Shamrock.
That's right, no.
These were before that, yes.
And I also asked him, or those 4 violations that happened between year 2011 through 2015, I asked him, did you ever personally sell to minors? He said he never actually personally sold to the minors. It was the employees. Nonetheless, as a licensee, he's fully responsible. He's fully aware of that. So I asked him, for this location, what's your plan as far as the employees are concerned? With this location, he will be working himself with his wife, and he may hire an employee as the business goes. But current owner is, I think, 2 sisters running it, and they don't have any employees, so that's about the size of the business, the gross sales. But if, hopefully, if the business picks up, he will be hiring an employee, and that happens, he will make sure the employee is certified. He will make sure that employee uses the scanner, because after all, even if you have the scanner, if the employee gets lazy and doesn't use it, it's not gonna work. So he will make sure the employees are monitored at all times. Either him or his wife will be at the store to make sure that all the rules and regulations are abided by.
Okay, and we have a letter, or email letter, from another Mr. Presley, this time on behalf of the Druid Heights Community Development Corporation, supporting the transfer to Mr. Lee.
Yes, thank you.
Do the commissioners have questions?
Mr. Yu, I recall Mr. Lee being here, and we did deny him a couple times ago. And I am concerned about his record, and I do appreciate that since he now owns the other establishment, he's not come before us on a violation. But I think it's important for him to hear how serious we take his history and ensure that he is using that scanner. If he has an employee that uses scanner, and also have a backup, some kind of backup system where you're checking IDs. Because his history is, particularly as it relates to sales to minors, is pretty bad.
Yes.
So I do appreciate that you acknowledge that and you're working on it, but I would be extra specially vigilant given the history. So,
Did you have anything?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from council, and the testimony, as well as the letter of support from the Community Development Corporation, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I echo my colleagues' sentiments as far as the violation history, but given your testimony today, or proffer today, and the letter of support and our file and other evidence before us, I vote to approve the license.
Yeah, I vote to approve with the, obviously with the caveat that I made earlier, and with the support of the community, which I think is beneficial. I wish you luck, and again, hope that we don't see you in an afternoon docket.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
I could call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, a letter of support from the Druid Heights CDC.
Vino Wine LLC, trading as Vino Wine Bar, 905 South Ann Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service, requesting off-premise catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages. Please come forward.
Good afternoon. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of applicants.
Good afternoon. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. Fogelman?
Good afternoon. Vino Wine Bar, you may know it. You may know its location. It is located right next to Patango Bakery, which is, we had in here this morning. Vino Wine Bar and Shop is a great little place, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't remember any violations for that place going back to at least 2007. You may have some better info in front of me, but it's kind of a grown-ups establishment. In fact, it has a higher percentage of female customers than male customers in their demographics. And in that regard, it is now about to be completely women-owned. Jennifer Hauser is at the end here, and Jill Valeri in the middle. They are the two applicants. They have already been alcohol certified.
Thank you.
Thanks.
But that doesn't mean they're going to do all the work. They're going to put Mr. Joe Valeri, the spouse of Jill Valeri, to work for them. And he's going to be pretty much the hands-on guy to take care of business. They understand that there are inherent risks that occur when you have a license to sell alcohol to the public. They take it very seriously. They come into this business slowly and through different industries. They don't have a lifetime of experience behind the bar, but Mr. Valeri has quite a bit of experience that I think is directly applicable to such a business, and I'd like to have him speak for a minute about what their concept is and how they plan to avoid any problems with their business going forward.
Great, so.
One up here. This is Joseph Valeri.
Thank you, sorry. I'm loud, so I didn't think I need the microphone.
We're being recorded. so-
I understand. So Vito currently is, as Steve points out, it's an adults place. It's largely better than more than 65% female, generally over 30. It is a wine bar. It is not a place to come drink a lot of beer. So we're basically going to take the existing operation as it is, the regulars and the place, and modernize it. It's been 10 years. We're going to give it a facelift. We're keeping the style, the culture, and we're going to be focusing on unique and rare wines, as well as unique and rare spirits. And that will be our focus. We're also going to be adding an online service to notify people of rare selections coming available and provide the delivery that is already on the license.
So will they
for
be
the rare
delivering
spirits.
just wine?
It'll be wine that we're focusing on, yes, just the wine delivery of the unique stuff. Yeah, we're not planning on doing the spirit delivery. That's really just in there for folks who, mostly people who come in with somebody who wants wine, who wants bourbon or beer. So we'll have some of that available. But it's right now the sales are about 90% wine. It'll be more than 80% going forward. That is the focus, particularly unique wines. We are putting in a new POS system that has a card scanner for age verification, and we've already met with the staff, 2 of which are already tip certified. We've already met with them on the fact that we want every single person carded regardless. We're trying to, with the POS system, even get wireless card scanners so that we can go to tables and scan them, in addition to whomever comes to the register, because it is a wine store as well as a wine bar. Oh, I'm sorry, my background. So I grew up in the restaurant business. My great-grandfather grew wine grapes in Italy. My grandfather owned a bar in New York, which I grew up in. I was managing restaurants until I was in my early 20s. That's how I put myself through college. I did not go into the restaurant business after that because I saw the hours and I wanted to be home with my kids. So I went to the software business, which I did for the last 25 years. I've been a software entrepreneur until about a year ago. I took a company that from 0 to about 100 people, and I sold it about a year ago with 2 partners. Tried to retire, decided I can't do that. I've always dreamed about owning a bar, particularly a waterfront bar, and wine is a passion of mine. So it was just the perfect fit. Particularly because of the kind of clientele and the kind of level of the place.
I don't know if you got anything by email from the Fells Point Residents Association. We did stop by there on our way to present for Patango last Wednesday. We also invited Mr. Valeri and Ms. Hauser to come in and speak, and they did briefly. And probably the high point of it was Mark Bachman, who's the current owner of Vino, the cellar, is widely respected and known in Fells Point, having started as a bartender 30 years ago at Bohager's. And he came in, and he's, as I say, he's pretty respected. And he said, look, I was not going to sell my baby to just anybody. I wanted the right buyer, and they're it. And so that meant a lot to the folks at the Fells Point Residents Association.
Is it open now?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should remain open. There should not be any closed days as a result. I've been working there actually for the last 3 weeks with Mark, on and off, learning the operation and getting to understand it.
I thought there was going to be a facelift.
There is. The facelift will happen in January because it's too busy right now. So we're planning it. My wife's actually an interior designer. So that plus a marketing firm we've hired, we're going to rebrand and re-image. But again, same style, same everything.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from council and the testimony received, I'd vote to approve the transfer with continued outdoor table service, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
I concur on the same bases and vote to approve the transfer of the license.
I too vote to approve transfer of the license with outdoor table service, off-premise catering, and the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, Judge, some people...
Buona fortuna.
Some people retire and they go to study the classics. Other people actually
But
go.
wine is a large part of that, though.
Oh, is it? So you
Back
two
to
could get
before
together.
the Roman
Yeah.
times. Thank you.
I may call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, applicant's exhibit number 1, a menu and drink list. Applicant's exhibit number 2, the alcohol awareness certificates of Jennifer Hauser and Jill Delaney.
Broadway Liquors, 628-30 South Broadway. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license and application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Good afternoon. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of applicants.
Good afternoon. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, so what you're looking at today is a do-over of a hearing we had about a year ago. Mr. Bandari and Ms. Karki were approved by this board for a transfer from Jan Yondasik, the seller. A lot of weird things happened after the transfer. Everybody was out of town. I was out of town, it seemed like, but more importantly, Mr. Yondasik went on a very long trip back to his homeland of the Czech Republic after he sold the bar. So we weren't able to get some signatures from him, weren't able to get the bulk transfer permit signed in time to give the state time to take care of it. Mr. Bandari went off to Nepal and got married. They ended up being 99% done the transfer, but the clock ran out as they were waiting for their bulk transfer permit to come in from the state, from the comptroller's office. So the good news is, as far as I know, most of those things aren't going to have to be redone. They've already, the inventory that they filed the bulk transfer on has already been sold. The fees have been paid. So I'm hoping that this transfer won't require 180, not even a fraction of 180 days. And certainly not the 270 we were granted last time. So nothing's changed, except now these folks have operated the bar or the store for a year with no violations. And they'd like to go ahead and consummate this and get their name on the wall for good. And I thank you.
Okay. Questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Now, on the basis of the materials contained in the application, on the basis of the evidence received at the prior transfer hearing, the proffer from counsel here, and any testimony, I'd vote to approve the transfer.
I concur and vote to approve the transfer.
I vote to approve the transfer.
Thank you very much.
No exhibits for the record.
See you in September, I hope. Thank you.
Noticing the tie.
Mr. Page, is that our docket for today?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the board is in recess until 11 a.m. Thursday, August the 23rd, 2018. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.